we have a nutrition coordination tool in place, and people wouldn't believe how long the journey was to get there. And many people would probably also not believe that it started from the district. It was DEDZA district getting tired of having to fill in Excel sheets each and every year for their partner mapping. And it was our development advisor at the time, Kai, I hope you're listening, who said, this must become easier. We need a tool that makes districts' lives easier when it comes to coordinating nutrition programs. So that's when the idea of a nutrition coordination tool was born. And years later, we have the tool in place, and it has actually been completely incorporated by national level, and districts are so excited to be able to use it. And yeah, it's in place now.
Well, Kai, thanks very much. We could dedicate this episode to you. And now let's listen to what this tool is all about. It's over to you. Throughout the conversations on this podcast, you've heard us talk about coordination, collaboration, partnerships, and everything in between. But today, we are actually taking it a step further to see how the Food and Nutrition Security Program actually coordinated, but further helped other partners also to coordinate on nutrition interventions at district level as well as at central level. And in today's conversation, I'm joined by the GIZ Malawi Food and Nutrition Security Program Junior M&D Specialist, Amos Tizora. Welcome, Yay. Amos. It's an honor to have you on our conversation today.
Wow, nice introduction.
Today we are looking at the coordination too. I do understand FNSP also did this work besides the usual intervention that it does.
Yeah.
And I did have some conversations with some of the team members, but today we actually want to find out exactly what made FNSP decide to develop the coordination tool in the first place.
Firstly, thank you very much for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
The web-based nutrition coordination tool, as I call it, because it's a mouthful. So people just say the nutrition coordination tool, or they just say the coordination tool. It's in two variations. There's a web-based version of it and a mobile application version of it for Android.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
All these were user-driven needs that we saw that we needed to have a web-based and mobile application. As you know, in the areas where people work, they don't have internet all the time. So sometimes you might need to collect data offline and then push it through when you have the internet.
How necessary was it? I'm asking this question because, it might seem obvious.
Yeah.
And sometimes, projects are structured differently. And there are like different timelines, partners, and everything. Like, why did you feel like you need to have this tool? Was it really necessary? Because there were already other tools that were being used at the district, maybe or central level.
I will share with you the history of how the tool came about. But before I get there, I would like to just answer the why is it necessary. So this tool focuses on coordination. We already have another tool, the NNIS, that focuses on implementation. So there is a fine line between what is coordination and what is implementation.
Yeah.
So under nutrition, there's this. So as I share with you the two, I think I also try and bring the difference to light. But like the history of the two, FNSP is at an advantage that we've been implementing for 10 years. Mm-hmm. So during the long implementation of 10 years, we were able to have structures where we have developmental advisors in the districts that we implement, which is a very different outlook to how other projects do it. So we have development advisors right in the district councils, working in the districts, and below that also we have junior advisors as well. So one of the DAs, development advisors, called Kai, was working in DEDZA. So as he was also part of the DNCC, which is the District Nutrition Coordinating Committee, they would get data of all the partners that they have, where the partners are working, which interventions they're doing, how long is the project running for. And they would have this data in an Excel sheet.
Yeah, that was too much work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And also, you know how staff turnovers are in the district. So once someone goes with their laptop, because everything is gone. It's not like they're working on Teams. It's like everything is offline,
Yeah.
They have no savers. Wow. Now they have savers as one of the interventions GIZ has done in all the districts, So that's a knowledge management. We're also trying to make sure that all these digital solutions we're bringing speak to each other, and these things are there forever. Once you have data.
So it's like cloud-based system now.
Yes.
Data storage.
Yes. So even if someone leaves their post, someone else comes in, they can log into the system and they have the information there. Yeah, that's one of the digital solutions that we have push through in the districts. So going back to the DAs and how the DNCC. So in Dedza, the Pinau, the DA, Kai, they saw this problem, yeah? So the Kai said, okay, what if we develop an app that will show mapping, yeah? Will answer 3 things. Who, what, and where. Who is where? That's the name of the partner.
Yes.
Where, at traditional level, where they're implementing whatever project they're doing. And what is like, what interventions are they doing? So then this idea was like exciting to the DNCC.
It is exciting.
Yeah, because
even to me, I think I can already see how much this is going to solve.
So that now answers the need. You understand? So we did try to design everything under the user need, because once the users have a need for a system, it's not part of work anymore. It's something they can use as a tool.
That's true.
Hence in the name tool. Coordination tool. So bringing it back to the user need. So another disadvantage of the Excel based sheet was it needed manual intervention to, like, if a project ends and another project comes in.
Data transfer and what have you. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
So in the system, this happens automatically. Like one project, there's a project and the status for the project. Complete, in progress, or hasn't started yet. Yeah, you can even input projects that haven't started yet. So when the project is about to start, it will send a notification to the administrators that this project is about to start.
Is coming in District A.
Yeah. Even for the district level, it will tell them this project is about to start. So if there are any delays to say, okay, maybe the project shouldn't start yet, then you can go back in the system and edit the dates, the start date and the end dates. Anyway, I think I'm touching into... I get excited about this.
No, it's actually exciting. And actually, as somebody who's been championing this work, I can already imagine why it's exciting. And as I told you, for me even, it's also exciting just looking at how much you're easing the people's, work that are going to be doing this work. But now going to the ideation process that has happened. I understand Kai is the one who was there before Sabrina?
Yeah, Kai was there before Sabrina. I think this is several years back.
Okay. Yeah, so like the conceptualization is here.
Yes.
How did now the work actually get accomplished? Because I know at this point, I mean, I had a chance to just go through, when you were showing me like how this is structured, the user interface anyway.
Yeah.
So I know that you are at that age where that stage where you're rolling it out.
Yeah.
How was this accomplished? Like the developmental process? Who did you partner with to, develop the tool? Because I know that's some other skill set that maybe you might not have, or maybe you may have, or I just want to understand that whole process, and also maybe which partners, maybe political partners or maybe implementing partners at district level and central level did you work with?
I think like that's one of those questions that sounds so simple, but it's so much layered, it's so complex. But anyway, I saw this coming. So from a concept in Kai's head and also in the DNCC, we tried to firstly find different developers.
Okay.
So we tried, we failed, we tried again, we failed. If you don't succeed, you try and try. So that's just to give you. So this now the consultant that we found, Starbite, they've done a very good job. And from there, I think we managed to get something on the ground. One of the other things was, this sounded like a very good idea, and people had so many things they wanted the tool to be able to do that made it difficult. So when trying to develop the 2 hours, we tried to say, okay, guys, we can't do everything. Let's start somewhere. So we changed it around, going back to the user need. So we said, let's develop something, have the users look at it, and keep building on the feedback. So that's how we kind of did it. So it's kind of like it's been like a loop going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. For their partners, the main partner is the Department of Nutrition at national level.
That is at national level.
Yes. At district level, DNCC.
Okay, what is DNCC? I know some of the listeners are like, what is that?
I know. So that's the District Nutrition Coordinating Committee.
Okay.
So like in this case, the office of the Pinau in Dedza.
Yeah. What's the composition of the DNCC?
So the DNCC is chaired by the DPD.
Okay, that's the Director of Planning and Development in the District Council.
Yes. Okay. He chairs the DNCC. So you have the Pinau.
Yes.
That's the principal health nutrition officer. And then you have the nutrition officers.
Okay.
You have members from agriculture as well. So you have kind of like everyone involved in nutrition at the district
from
level.
the political partner side, like
From
a
the
district
government,
council.
from the government side.
Okay.
Yes, and then you can have partners that are implementing nutrition projects in the districts. They can also join and be part
Like
of it.
in this case, we would say SHA, for
Yes,
instance,
yes,
because they were the
yes.
partner for FNSP in this
Yes,
one.
SHA, CARE.
Okay.
You can have UNICEF.
Yeah.
You have like so many. So basically, it's like a think tank that they are supposed to be the brain
Okay.
around nutrition in the district.
So
They're supposed to meet once in a while.
So in the development, did you consult this group?
Over and over.
Especially, I know you obviously consulted the government, but I'll
Yeah.
be focusing mostly for this question on
Yeah.
the UNICEF people, the other, implementing partners.
Yes.
Okay.
So actually, even from our perspective, in the development of the TORs itself, we had to consult other partners to see if there was something
You were missing.
like this
Okay.
that's already out there, because
Yeah,
we didn't want to.
You didn't want to reinvent the wheel.
Yes, because if there's something was already out there, it would be easier to just pick it up
Yeah, definitely.
and run with it. But whatever was out there was mostly mapping tools, but was not what
As
we were doing.
comprehensive as this one is.
I'm in favor to say yes, but to sound politically correct, I would say different.
You're being humble with your words.
Yeah.
I see, like you're consulting this one, but then when I was seeing that too, I saw it's even cascading to the TL level.
Yes.
Yeah. Why did you include the TL level? Because I do know
So-
that the DNCC works mostly from the district council perspective.
Yeah, but then if you take it back,
Yeah.
you take it back to the question,
Yeah.
why they
Yeah.
need it too. So when you have the data of the partners and
Yeah.
in which TAs they're implementing, so let's imagine we're in the DNCC.
Yeah.
So a partner comes in, says, I have this many funds and resources. We wrote a proposal I want to implement in your district. Then one of the questions you ask them is where?
Where?
Yeah.
Is
So-
it the whole district or selective?
And in what TAs? Because then you might have more cases of malnutrition in
Yeah.
other TAs. That's where coordination is.
Coordination. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just curious because sometimes, when people are developing concepts, proposals, and what
Yeah.
have you, they already have a preconceived idea of where they're going to implement this.
Yeah.
So when it's coming to the district, it's already gone through the approval stages and
Yeah.
everything. So they're coming to the district. They found me. Let's say I'm a Pinao. I'm
Yeah.
there, and then they're saying we are going to be working, say, in Maganga, where FNSP was working in
Yeah.
Salima, and you find there are 5-6 partners working in that area, and you find it and there's nobody.
Are you sure you're not using a real life example? Because something like
No.
that happened.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
really.
God.
so like our Pinao
Yeah.
in Nedza will be testament to this, yeah? And
Okay.
the DNCC.
Okay.
So a partner came who shall not be named. They
Yeah,
already
of
had
course.
the whole everything passed through, yeah? So they said we're going to implement in this TA.
Mm-hmm.
And the DNCC looked at who is what and where, and they looked at their coordination, yeah? Using this data that we have. And they said, no, you can't implement in this. And the issue went back, and they had to go back to their funding organization and justify why they can't, and they had to change. And now they went into another TA. So that's
But within the same district.
very same district, just
that's
another
good.
TA.
That's
Because
really good.
we're not into ticking off boxes.
Boxes.
We want something that actually works.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
So
an
that's
interesting take.
It really happened. So this is like a user story. So when you focus on the end user and their need,
From this example, I'm also looking at maybe how it could help people who are in the developmental stages of their work. Maybe
yeah,
they could actually go to the tool if they would.
Yes.
To just check which areas actually need support and areas they could,
So
avoid.
when I was showing you the two area,
Yeah.
this is where I wish if like this was one of those podcasts where you can bring something on
Yeah.
screen. Yeah. So you saw there were different colors, yeah.
Yeah.
So the two has this color scale from like green, amber, all the way to red, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is based off the projects that have been implemented in the two, and we're looking at coverage. For example, if you're targeting children under 5, and you're targeting 2,500, but in that TA there's 5,000, then your coverage is 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on the scale, it will show you in between, which is kind of amber, isn't it? Because it's 50%.
Yeah.
But if you're targeting, let's say, 1,000, yeah, then you're going towards the 90%. That
Yeah.
and it show red. If your coverage is like 4,000, then you're now going towards the green. You get it? So that the map where it shows red, it means there's less coverage. Where it shows green, there's coverage.
good coverage.
So if someone opens the two, they should be able to automatically say there's more projects here and there. And that coloring also goes down to tier level. So in a district, if you open up all the map and you are seeing a heat map of your whole TA, you should automatically say, okay, there's no coverage here. Or what's happening? So that should lead you to start making coordinated decision making.
What I also liked about the two, it's quite visually appealing. And, like from a visualization perspective, it's also nice because it kind of doesn't make you get bored of, what you're watching and what you're reading and everything. But now I'm looking at this thing seems really comprehensive and really beneficial. But I know for the most part, FNSP was working in 2 districts.
Yeah.
Apart from, the national level concepts like the nutrition governance issues, they were pretty much mostly national level, but centrally focused on the 2 districts. This too is really such a good thing. And I just don't know how many districts you're working or hoping to, benefit. Because I would be really feeling left out if I was to be coming from Karonga, and this one is something that I'm missing out on.
I think I'm not a good storyteller because from the history of the 2, we started with the 2 districts that we were implementing in.
Okay.
And then we managed to have a prototype that's up and running. Like we said, we kept taking feedback. So the feedback we're taking from so many sources, including the department.
Okay.
So we took feedback from the director, then Felix.
Dr. Felix Pierre.
Yeah, Dr.
Oh,
Felix
we had
Pierre.
him here on the nutrition governance
Brilliant guy, yeah?
Yeah, he's a very
passionate,
guy.
very passionate about
very
nutrition.
Passionate. And actually, you can talk to him the whole day.
Yeah. I remember we went to his office, and this was my first time having a sit-down session with him. So I was quite nervous because this is a phase where it's make it or break it, yeah? So we went with also our district partners because we wanted them to present the tool because it shows ownership. So they presented it. So Juliet was one actually who presented it, the nutrition office for data. She presents it, and the director gave some remarks. And there were very good feedback that he gave back that now are in the tool. And from then, I had a feeling that, I think we've done something here. That was the first time I ever had a feeling to say, wow. And then he said, we need to present this at the National Nutrition Coordinating Committee.
Wow.
So he presented it himself. And when he presented it, he told our team leader, Martina, who was also present, and everybody FNSP, we're happy you did this in the 2 district, but let's scale it up to every district. So that's when the scaling up began. So now we thought, okay, we're done, but now it's more to do. Yeah. So we had to scale it up. So how do you scale up to now 28 districts? Yeah. And then going back, in the initial phases of testing, we also got feedback from Zimba, which was a non-FNSP district, because we wanted to see that we are not just doing this from everyone who has the bias lays, not from everybody who's within.
Yes, I mean, people at central level also, they do interface with you, so they would obviously have a bit of a bias.
So sometimes you need to get criticism from places.
The third party,
So I remember we also traveled to Zimba. The team there is very nice. They had very good comments as well. Wow. Also, we had partners from UNICEF in that meeting as well. So we got feedback from partners that we're not working with. So like I said, it's been a loop and loop. We've been getting so much feedback, putting it in. So after that, now we scaled it up to every district. So how we did that was we had to do clustered sessions in the southern, central, and northern region. So we had to train the PNAO.
In every district?
Yes, in every day we brought them. We kind of did cluster trainings. So they were being trained now by the department because the department...
They had owned it.
They had owned it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the department had owned it, and also the department and we became the trainers. So it's it's already cascaded down, So you're talking of issue of training trainers. So we had Dedza, who are already masters of the tool, the department, plus the developer, and Salima also, and then developing, and then the developer to help with the technical questions, but training other districts. So we trained from every district. We trained PNAO, FNO, and nutrition and the M&E across every district. So after those trainings, we are now in the middle of doing what we call follow-up sessions. So every district, as of now, we're in the process of doing follow-ups. Okay. So as of now, the tool has about 100 users.
Oh, okay.
From the districts and the department.
These users are just even implementing partners, yeah?
So the partners can now log in to just view. So we have user groups.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I saw
I'll circle back to the user groups. But I think it's important to address that now so that maybe people understand.
At some point, I'm going to be asking what actually is contained in this. So I think
great.
you can actually give an explanation of
All
that.
right.
In case you're just joining us, this is Over to You podcast. And today we are having a conversation on the coordination tool. Today I'm joined by Amos Tizora, Junior M&D Specialist for GIZ Malawi Food and Nutrition Security Program, a nutrition intervention funded by the German Development Corporation. Keep listening because there's still so much you need to listen and to hear from the conversation today. So Amos, you spoke about how, the directorate actually took this initiative and sort of owned it to the extent of championing it in meetings, so to say. I'm just interested to find out how the other side embraced it, like the implementing partners now, beyond GIZ and the government.
I think I'll answer it in two phases. So I think during the actual presentation itself, I think people were skeptical. But after seeing it now in action, it's good to be skeptical.
Yeah, it is. It is.
After seeing it now, from the partners that I've interacted with in like the meetings we've had, like the follow-ups, they seem to be really loving this idea that something can be sustainable. Because the fear that partners have is not that people don't have capacity, but the fear that they have is that whatever we do, the moment we are out, it's out
not
with us.
Sustainable, yeah.
Something we worked around. We had to always keep thinking, how is this going to be sustainable?
I wanted to find out, this is a web-based tool.
Yes.
There's obviously, I don't know if there is, but I know if something is like web-based, there has to be like subscription fees and stuff like that. I don't know if such stuff is involved.
Do you want me to answer that now?
I think you can just answer now so you can get it out of the way.
So it's cloud hosted. Yeah, so you have to pay for the server hosting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but as of now, it's already paid for, but the department will pick it up and continue to pay for it.
It's not that expensive to host.
Yeah, it's not. It's just the same as you...
Like a website?
Relatively not expensive. The same as hosting your website. Because the tool does not keep data files, does not have video files, as you can see.
If you're really interested in being a user for this, you'll find a way to pay for it because what you're doing is already a lot of work. The development and the cascading part, I feel for me it's the biggest job that you're doing, and you've taken that off them and just literally handling something beautiful and nice to them, like, oh, here it is, maybe it can make your work easier.
And just to plug ourselves, in case you're a partner and interested in this, so www.nutritionmw.com. You find the welcoming page, just like your Facebook. Sign up and then give it a moment. An administrator will approve you. Yeah. Once you approve,
www.nutritionmw.com. www.nutritionmw.com.
Yes.
In case you're a partner, you are looking to implement a nutrition intervention in any district in Malawi, please go to www.nutritionmw.com. That way you're going to know which area will require your help or which areas are pretty much saturated at the moment, so you can actually see how best you can work around your work or maybe just see data and stuff that's important in the nutrition ecosystem.
Also, for those that are interested, you don't have to necessarily be just maybe to get inspiration for something else you're doing.
So I want to find out about the composition. Now, we've been talking about the importance of this tool because it's going to help with the coordination. I mean, it's giving people data already on what is where and what is needed where, what interventions are available, which ones are not that much, implemented in a district. But what is the composition of this tool? What's in it?
So picture nutrition in Malawi. Yeah? When you're talking of implementation, you're talking about maybe the reports. You're talking about number of whatever, number of households, number of care group models. So many things about numbers. But if you are actually working in nutrition as a partner, we always find issues of coordination. I know you've heard this before. People do not coordinate. Sometimes they don't coordinate because they don't even know who else is there in the district.
Yeah, like working in silos because you don't have information, so
yes,
to say.
Yes. And also we have this whole decentralized, centralized. There's so much going on.
Yeah,
so this is supposed to bridge the gap about coordination. So we focus on coordination, which will take us back to the user groups. Who needs coordination? So you have different user groups. You have the partners, which can include the donors, can include anyone just looking into it. You can also go down to the administrators, that is Department of Nutrition at the central level, because they have to have quality of the data, DQAs. And then you have at the district level, that district administrator, who's the PNAO himself. And then below that you have data entry, who are just people entering the projects at the district level, but they can also see and they can edit what's going on. But then everything else at the district level is approved. What you end up with is a system that has information that has been approved by somebody. So the quality of the data in there has been entered by people in nutrition in Malawi.
And the approving authority is the government for the data that is entered.
At district level, it's the PNAO. At central level, it's the Department of Nutrition.
Which is the government anyway.
Yeah.
Which authenticates the information that is on the tool.
Yeah.
Assuming you're not an implementing partner, but just a researcher. I know there's some people also researching nutrition. They want to find out data. Can they be part of this tool?
So if you join as a user group of just someone who's viewing the data,
yes,
there is one of the partners. Like I say, we build our feedback.
Yeah.
So one of the feedback we got from the partners was, can we also download the reports? Mm-hmm. So now if you just view, you can download the reports. So for example, you'll be able to go to, say, Mangochi. You click on Mangochi as a district. Yeah. You should be able to see how many projects are in Mangochi. Past, those are completed, those that are ongoing, those that haven't even started yet. So you can download that. And then that doesn't show you, it shows you also the coverage and the TAs, which GVHs also, and then what they're implementing. So you can get that data.
But how far back does this data go?
It's at the discretion of the districts who are entering it, because you can enter a project from 1940 if you want.
Oh, really?
If it's important to your programming.
I think it is important even for learning as well.
Yeah, knowledge management. Remember, we're talking about just losing knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that the tool has that. But also just to touch on, you can also enter food system projects in that tool. So in the tool, you can also see which districts where or what food systems projects are happening across the country as well.
In case you're just joining us, you are listening to Over to You podcast. And in today's conversation, we are discussing the web-based nutrition coordination tool that the FNSP developed to support nutrition coordination efforts at both central and district level in Malawi. Today, I'm joined by Amos Tuzora, Junior M&D Specialist for GIZ Malawi Food and Nutrition Security Program, a program that is funded by the German Development Corporation. Keep listening. Let's now go to, because I do know at the end of the day, this is about also monitoring, kind of getting data easily and stuff like that. Comparing with other, you mentioned about an Excel format and tool earlier on. How do you feel this is going to be a game changer compared to the other tools?
So you've touched on something. So for implementation, the Department of Nutrition has NNIS, which is the National Nutrition Information System.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very good for correcting reports on implementation at district level.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a digital solution that's it's out there.
It's government developed too, or maybe it was done by a partner some time back?
I don't know. It's run by the government.
Okay.
It's on the government servers now. It was developed, I'm not sure which partner developed it, but it's run by the government right now. Yeah, by the M&D side there. They have trained staff in the districts to use this tool, but it collects a lot of information on nutrition on implementation. It's
and
out
not
there.
coordination.
And not coordination. So yes, we have digital solutions out there. What makes this digital solution unique?
Yeah.
You might ask.
Yeah.
So I would say it's the only one that I've heard of that comes from a user need in the district, because this has history. So once it has user need and it's seen as a tool that it's actually helping for them to because you can download a report on your phone. If your supervisor is asking, we need this information on nutrition, whatever, you just go and download it and use it. At the same time, this has also brought partners to the table to say, because now the districts, they've asked for them to fill in the data into their system. They had to ask the district, what is your budget? How much of your budget is for administration? How much of your budget was actually for implementation? Which areas, which tiers? This sounds like it's information that you should have.
Yeah.
But it's information that was lost within the cracks. And partners were not bringing the data up front. Yeah. But now when they see that other partners are already in the tool, they go no, we also have this data. Let's give it out. And then districts look at the map and they see the map is populated by other districts and they say, no, wait, let's also add our projects.
You're also generating demand for people to sort of have that, agency to sort of share the information. But then what are the district's thoughts on this? We had a conversation as well with Principal Nutrition HIV and AIDS Officer for DAIDSA, Mr. Loti Makina, and actually he shared Amos' sentiments. This is what he had to say.
So the coordination tool captures key information that is very critical for us to follow up with the projects. It does capture, for example, the name of the implementing partner. Let me give an example of SHA, to be specific, Self-Help Africa, as a partner. So it's going to capture the name of the partner, Self-Help Africa. It is also going to capture the name of the project. In this case, Food and Nutrition Security Program. It will capture the name of the donor, in this case GIZ. It will capture the source of funding. It will also capture the key interventions under that project. If the project, for example, is supporting infant and young child feeding, it is going to specifically capture what exactly is the project doing under IYCF. It will also capture the duration of the project, when the project started and when it is expected to end. It is also going to capture the key impact area where the project is being implemented. So when you go into this coordination tool, it is going to show you in which tiers is this project being implemented, in which GVHs, and under the GVHs, in which villages. So you're going to get that information is bits by bits about each and every project. But also, previously, we used to have what is called an Excel-based coordination tool. Yeah, it was more or less like a mapping tool, capturing the same information which I have stated here. But it was a bit of cumbersome, very difficult for us to track how the projects were progressing. Now we have migrated to a web-based coordination tool. So the web-based coordination tool is a product of the Excel-based tool that we used to have from 2019 up to 2023. So having noted each shortfalls, we support from GIZ. As a council, we lobbied for development of the web-based one so that we can manage data about projects very easily. So far, there have been some engagement meetings with the District Nutrition Coordinating Committee. We have given our input on what we want the tool to incorporate. We have also involved the DNHA. There was also a triangle meeting involving GIZ, there's a DCA Council, as well as the DNHA. So DNHA also had their input on the coordination tool. It's an exciting project, and we feel it's going to help us to manage our projects very easy.
To what extent is FNSP going to work on this coordination tool? And you as a council, how are you going to roll it out? And which partners and structures, government structures, are you going to work with?
Our vision is that this coordination tool should be owned by the council 100%. But I'm sure the vision of GIZ again is to see this coordination tool being owned by government through stakeholders like the council. So for the DC Council, that is what we want to do. Now, for us to own this one, we need to do a lot of trainings, a lot of capacity building for various stakeholders, as you have rightly reported. First, the entire District Nutrition and Coordinating Committee. Because in the DNCC, that is where you have all the sectors implementing nutrition and all the partners implementing nutrition. If we build capacity of the DNCC in this coordination too, we have reached out to all implementing partners. For those who will be coming to the district later, it will be our role to orient them on the system. The second structure that we would like to reach out at district level, I talked about DMEC, if you recall. Because this coordination too, apart from strengthening coordination among implementing partners, it is also a monitoring tool. I gave you an example. We would like to appreciate, for example, what the project is doing in the district. So after some time, DMEC would also be interested to look into the system and see whether the project is meeting its objectives or not. It's also going to include, for example, the resources. How much is a project worth? How much is being invested in the district? Is the investment correlating well with results on the ground? So the moment you start asking those questions, obviously you're not talking about monitoring and evaluation. So DMEC, as a committee responsible for monitoring, will also play a critical role in the utilization of this system. But for them to be able to, it means those of us who have been trained should be able to train members of DMEC as well. We would also like to train each and every stakeholder at district level concerned with nutrition, because at the end of it, the system should be able to serve every partner, every sector, and all stakeholders at district level. For the community stakeholders, that observation is good. We would have loved to reach out to community members. But as you rightly put it, there are challenges with technology. There are also challenges with equipment. You are talking about a system that relies on gadgets, like smartphones or laptops or computers. If you go to the communities, maybe with the exception of the TDCs in education or schools, you may not find the extension workers having laptops. Most of them don't have the laptops. That's the first challenge. They might have the smartphones, but there is always a challenge with the network or internet connectivity. If at the Boma here, we struggle with internet, what more in remote areas like in Tie Tambala or Tie Kachere? It's not possible. So maybe let's say that one for us is food for thought. We really need to engage structures at community level and see the possibility, how best can we connect them to this coordination tool. But it's an opportunity we can explore. We are always open to new ideas, and we do always want to improve from time to time. We'll be happier if even community structures like ANCC and the VNCCs are able to access and to try the system.
You mentioned that there was an Excel-based tool that you were using. Was that also used for M&D?
Yeah, it was used for M&D. But this web-based, we'll be doing that automatically. We will not have to read the reports or to ask people. It is going to be able to change some of the dimensions within it. If you have the target, and it's going to show the achievement automatically. So at the end of the year, it will just be us zooming into the system and looking at what was the target for this intervention and what has been achieved after this time frame.
What would you say are the biggest successes of the tool once it's operationalized?
It is going to strengthen coordination of nutrition interventions. It will bring all the implementing partners together, including government sectors. Secondly, it will be a learning platform. If, for example, I go into the system, I'm looking at how the FNSP project is performing, I should be able to learn a few things and then advise other partners on the best practices. So too, other partners can do likewise. So it is also provide that platform where we can learn from each other on the best practices in terms of delivering nutrition programs and services at district level. The third potential success story is the availability of data. We'll have data. As I said, everything about the projects will be there in the system. So if you were to come, for example, in this office and say, where as a partner would you like us to go? I don't have to speculate. I just have to look into the system. How is the distribution of projects like? Where do we have more projects in the district? Where are we having challenges, gaps in terms of projects or partners? The system is going to show me, and I should be able to guide you without actually making mistakes about it. So it's something that is going to be used for planning, generating best practices to provide the database for the future projects as well.
If you would change something, or maybe what do you think would be improved about the tool?
Before we talk about improving the tool, let's improve the system. We are talking about a tool that is web-based. You're talking about internet here. So we need the strong and reliable internet connectivity. I'm sure DNHA, GIZ, and the other partners are working on that area. We have, for example, I talked about NNIS. It is also a web-based system. For a long time, it has been frustrating when you have got data as a council or reports you want to upload and you are not able to do it. So that has been a source of frustration. But for now, I think the NNIS has now stabilized. We have been able to upload reports. So I hope this system will not follow that path because it discourages potential users. Mostly people want to see the system running. They have the data, they want to upload, they want to do it timely. But you log into the system, you can't even log in. The moment you choose the web browser, it's telling you you're out of the system or there's no internet connectivity. So it results into frustration and many people drop the system. The second thing is I'm not a fan of complicated or sophisticated technology. So let's not make this system more complicated. Because the more complicated or sophisticated it is, the less user-friendly it becomes, and the more people become frustrated and stop using it. So in the end, you ask yourself, all this investment, what have we achieved? So I'm hoping people who are in the design of this coordination tool, they can take notice of that. It must be very much user-friendly so that it can record the success we're anticipating. My name is Rod Makina, and I am the Principal Nutrition, HIV and AIDS Officer.
That was Mr. Makina, Amos. He was actually, I wouldn't say very excited because that would sound a bit, but he was very happy about it.
Yeah.
And he was actually looking forward to it. And for him, he said, we really struggle with data. And data in terms of knowing who is doing what, where, and how or what the process is or how their progress is. Sometimes you just see partners come and then they're gone.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier with this coordination too. And I found that to be really good coming from somebody who is on the implementation side at district level. Because, I mean, this conversation is mostly at central, but him, I think he was actually giving a grounded perspective of how this tool is going to make his work as a coordinator in nutrition space a lot easier and much better. So kudos, you did a great job on that one.
Yeah, I think those sentiments go and resonate throughout the FNSP team. We don't just do our work to tick off boxes.
I have noticed that throughout this,
It's contagious. When you see your colleagues pushing above and beyond, you have no
Yeah.
choice but also push above and beyond. So it's one of those things that we bring out the best. We do it to the best of our abilities.
Yeah.
Despite not just saying, well, this is an indicator, this is something we have to do. No, we do something that we'll be proud of 10, 15 years from now. Say,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
we were
true.
part of this.
We are going towards the end of this conversation.
As good as it's been.
It is
Time
actually,
has flown
I
by.
honestly don't want to stop because it's really something that I wish listeners could be as invested. As I'm looking at it, especially those into, intervention, because I'm looking at listeners beyond nutrition.
Yeah.
Because if you're implementing, say, in WASH, you're implementing, say, in agriculture, you could also borrow a leaf from FNSP on the coordination aspect and maybe also develop something similar to coordinate work around, agriculture, around, education. It's actually a feel-good kind of
Yeah,
tool.
one of the partners we checked on their tool for
Yeah.
implementation was FAO, Food Agriculture
Yeah,
Organization.
yeah.
They have a very good mapping on farmer financial schools, was it? Or they have a good mapping on where their assets are on the ground.
Yeah.
So when I looked at the map, I said, oh, this is nice. So that was when we were brainstorming on how to do it. So we talked to different partners. So shout out to them. They have a very
Shout
good...
out to FAO. That's another thing, about FNSP, learning from partners.
You have to.
From the government, from everybody that you could learn from to improve and adapt into the program. I have seen a lot of that throughout this podcast series. And I must say, there's so much people need to learn from how FNSP did things. From, political coordination, partnerships with a political partner, and other implementing partners. I feel like if we could do a lot of things the way this was done, a lot of learning within and sort of changing what's not working into something that's working, I think some things would be different in a better way.
When you do something to the best of your abilities, you do not only end up creating something nice, but you also grow in the process. So
that's
you build
true.
capacity of everyone who around it, because it's like everybody there was pushing each other.
That's true.
Even the developer, we had to push the developer.
I'm sure even by the time he was getting the job and by the time he left, he totally did not maybe grasp fully what he could do. By the time he finished, I think he could maybe sit down and go like, this is not what I thought I would do, but I've been able to do so much.
Yeah, we were lucky enough that Starbite consultancy that developed it too. But the lead developer, Archangel Chira, so he's both like the developer and the lead person. When you have someone who's technical, because the passion that the team had, and when you saw that these guys are not just
trying to... It was resonating from the
yeah.
team lead himself.
It went all the way.
What other maybe success factors have you maybe registered for the tour?
Personally, like last week,
Yeah.
I was literally, we were like doing follow-ups of every district in the southern region. Southern eastern region, so every district.
Yeah.
I was tired.
I can imagine that's a
So
lot.
as I was tired, one of the Pinaus, she said, "Thank you very much for this." I was rejuvenated immediately.
Wow.
Because once you see that something you are putting in energy to, the user,
Somebody
it's actually
is
user.
randomly,
It's the user actually likes. It's the user. It's useful to the user.
And that's the whole purpose of developing the tool.
Yes, it has to
Yeah.
be useful to the user.
That's
And
true.
I'm a Malawian first.
Exactly.
Before
Exactly.
anything else. And to see in the field that we work in, nutrition, you see mothers, you see children. It's tough.
It is.
And sometimes with nutrition, you don't see the immediate results.
That's true. Especially on issues, like stunting.
Yes,
They're
so
quite
much.
tough to sort of just look at today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's hard to, see. But when you see somebody, like you're saying, it's a Pinao who is coordinating that aspect at district, and she knows how much you're going to make her work even easier at that level.
Yeah.
Even her reporting to headquarters, it's also going to be easier. So that's really a good success
So
factor.
we'll sleep better at night knowing that we at least put a tool
No, you
that's
did.
useful
You did a good job.
in the right hands.
Yeah, but if you could do this again, what do you think you could change? Or maybe what could be done differently?
Honestly, I can't think of anything that's...
Now, that's somebody who enjoyed his work.
I'm passionate about my work. It's not every day that you find work, especially in Malawi, that you actually contribute to something positive.
Yeah, that's true. And I think something that you can actually feel that this thing is really going beyond this project. Because, there's some interventions, especially in this development space, you do and you're like, maybe they will, maybe... Yeah, but the energy kind of goes down But with this one, you can actually tell, this one, even partners would want an easily coordinated platform.
Yeah.
Because now, with the sort of, I would say, dwindling donor space, people want to optimize resources. Like, where are they going? Is there a real need in that space?
It's always been like that. Resources are scarce.
Yeah, the resources are scarce.
So if you coordinate them nicely,
Exactly.
like that's the thing. Because if you have poor coordination within scarce resources, then there's waste or there's double dipping.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, some partners will go to a district and literally coordinate the project or implement the project rather in an easy to reach area.
Oh yeah, actually that is very true. They would want, when people are coming, like donors are coming to monitor, they shouldn't have to walk like 200 kilometers or 100 kilometers off-road. Like, no, let's just go along the road.
When the DNCCs would sit down and say, no, don't do this in this area, they never had data to back up those claims.
Yeah, just like
it's
speculation.
Like it's anecdotal. But now you have data to back up everything. Say this is what the data says. So you can't implement here.
So
you give people power to make decisions that are right for everybody at the end of the day.
No, that's very true.
That's how I look at it.
No, I think that's a good way to look at it because, as you say, optimization of resources, but also people choosing where to go because it suits their narrative of how they want, to implement what without necessarily looking at actual indicators and everything else. Like, we really need to go here. It's really a good thing that this tool is here. But also, if you're listening and maybe you don't work in nutrition, maybe you work in another area, this could also be something that you could replicate, in your areas and just make sure that you make your work easier, maybe within partners, political partners, the government, and everybody else that works within your, sector. We could learn a bit from FNSP.
Yeah, and not just learn. FNSP is one of those, you can always come through knowledge sharing. Reach out.
You are not stingy with information. That's what I would say.
Yeah. The reasons why we're doing this podcast is to reach out to people that we don't reach out to. So please come forward, send emails if you want to inquire about this. If you want to pick it up as a partner also.
In case somebody maybe wants to ask you more information about this tool, are you willing to share details on how they can reach you?
We're pushing through also the government website. So it'll also be on the government website. We'll have an about page.
Yeah.
If it's technical, then you can always reach out also to me via email. amos.tizora@giz.com. I think on the GIZ, there's a fact sheet that's been shared, I think, on the GIZ page.
In case you're interested to find out more about where to find, this coordination tool, Amos already did share where you can find the tool. It's www.nutritionmw.com. You register, and then the administrator is going to let you in, and you can go through it and check out what's contained in the tool and how best you can, maybe work with the partners where you want to implement something, or maybe where you just want to find out more information about it. This is a goldmine in the development space with regards to coordination. Now, Amos, maybe let's talk about concluding remarks. What are your thoughts finally?
I would like to shout out to the partners that we've worked with.
Okay.
I think the Department of Nutrition has been awesome. The districts that we've worked with, the Lima, they've been awesome. And then also the other districts that we had to scale up to. Every district, we've met so many people. We have so many brilliant, capable people.
This is the end of our conversation today, and I'm hoping that you people have also learned, because the whole purpose of this podcast is to learn, to share the interventions, the successes, and everything that the FNSP did, from the learning points, from the adaptation, from the working things, even things that did not work well. FNSP was not shy to share the information about it. We hope you have learned a lot from this, and today's conversation was especially enlightening because beyond implementation, there are things that happen within the process that we do not take into account, coordination being one critical key. Not only with implementation partners, but also government side. If you don't coordinate well, sometimes things don't happen well, or even you do have misrepresented data, or even you even have, struggles, filling your log frame and stuff like that. But coordination is very important because it gives you pointers on what to look at, where, what to find where, and how to, work together maybe with other partners to just, achieve one goal. In case you really want to find out where to find this coordination tool, please go to www.nutritionmw.com. This has been your very usual host, Zainab Chisenga, and today I was joined by the amazing Amos Tizora, Junior M&D Specialist for GIZ Malawi, the Food and Nutrition Security Program, who also supports the Transformation Initiative Food Systems. And this has been Over to You, and we hope these lessons, learnings, highlights, successes, and everything is over to you. Thank you very much for listening.
Over to you.